The other dangerous part of it, in my opinion, is vulnerability. Right?
Yeah.
You got a lot of people out here that aren't used to, right? Like if you grow up with someone, they've been your neighbor since you were 3. You can't even remember life without them. And you just kind of understand each other at a deep, intimate level. You guys are best friends. Sometimes you have siblings in the same capacity, right? You can be vulnerable with them. If you have a problem, you know you can go to them. If you no longer have that, you've moved far away from it, now you got to find new people. A lot of people have trouble opening up, being vulnerable, and actually assessing how they're feeling in their day-to-day. It can be really easy to live years and years and years without actually addressing real problems, real situations, real mentality shifts that need to happen. Because I could live 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 months, a year without actually ever opening up to somebody if I didn't want to. So you got to make yourself want to do that, build that habit, and like actually address who are you really inside.
Welcome to the QFM Podcast. You got your man Giff here, and we got
Kenny J. What's good? What's good?
Thank you guys for subscribing and also listening. And we got our special guest. And just introduce yourself, man.
Yeah, man. My name is Andrew. Been in Raleigh now for a little over 3 years. Moved here from Seattle, Washington, and then graduated from the University of Washington with a bachelor's degree in English. I work at a tech startup now. I'm in sales management, so helping develop salespeople understand how to do like a bunch of like high volume transactional outbound sales. We're selling SaaS software to small businesses. And Dale is actually one of my reps, so helping him come up and develop as not just a good salesperson, but a great man and like a leader among the people. So been fun, like learning my way both through how just that industry works. Also a lot of experience like moving across the country, setting up shop, creating community, lifestyle habits and discipline throughout all that. So that's just kind of my vibe. I mean, outside of that, I like to read, work out. I hate running, so I try to make myself do it.
You don't like running at all?
I hate it, but I make myself do it. That's why.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you run any miles or anything, or no?
Yeah, I mean, back before I tore my Achilles, I ran like a half marathon.
Oh, shit.
So like stuff like that, but I wasn't no good.
Okay.
I finished, but I didn't win or anything. Yeah, so doing a bunch of that sort of stuff. Try to have different hobbies. Like I have a list of hobbies, so it goes from like writing, reading, writing scripts for like short videos, learning how to edit better, drawing, a bunch of stuff like that. And I choose one every day to like do at least, for an hour. So,
right.
Cause all of those hobbies separately could be almost all consuming. But since my list of interests is so large, just knocking off at least one gives a sense of like marginal process day over day.
Right.
Yeah.
So kind of going back to kind of like that transition, right?
Yeah.
Because you're going into college doing English, right? And so you graduated with that.
Yeah.
So how is that transition for you from going to college, learning English, and then doing more of like a sales role?
Yeah.
So how was that transition for you?
The transition was largely accidental.
Okay.
Right? Like, I got a lot of thoughts about this, but like, I went into the degree I ended up with a degree I went into English basically because, well, I was 18 years old at the time. You throw an 18-year-old kid into an institution as big as the University of Washington, it's got like 50,000 undergrad students, right? And then you look at them and you're like, choose the path you want out of life, choose your interests, label yourself as who you think you're going to be for, the next 20, 30, 40 years. The biggest thing I knew was like, I like to read. I like big ideas. I like good conversations, and I like discussing and trying to change the world in that way. I thought I was going to be like a high school teacher. I thought maybe I would go to grad school and get into a PhD program because I was very caught up with it was romantic, the idea of like, here's this collective of human knowledge, and then passionate people go in there and they spend years researching one narrow path and expand that bubble just a little bit, right? I thought that was beautiful. Then I saw how expensive it was to get into grad school. I saw how expensive it was just to live life. And I saw how teachers get paid in North Carolina. And so, I had worked all throughout high school and college, paid rent, paid tuition, all that, just kind of on my own. And then moving here, I basically graduated and moved here with my girlfriend, who's much smarter than I am. She had a nice job set up. But the one thing I knew, because I had already done work as, at restaurants, retail stores, coaching jobs, because I played sports. They hired me back as a coach and all that stuff, teacher stuff. I just knew the one thing I wanted out of a job was I want to make myself more inherently valuable, whether that it's because I have a skill set more technically, like I'm better able to do something, whether that's me meeting people and connecting those, creating those connections that'll benefit me later in life, or it'll just look good on a resume. Because all respect to like service industry workers and retail workers and stuff like that, but I always kind of felt like if I'm the best server I can ever be, I will just be like another server, or I might become a GM maybe one day, right? So I saw mostly, I when I first moved here, I had like $300 in my pocket trying to like, figure stuff out. Saw on LinkedIn like sales opportunity technology, and I was like, all right, cool, tech. That'll help me move up. That seems technical. And when I actually interviewed for the job, I realized like, oh, this is like you're just talking to people. You're just talking to people, trying to convince them of something. It seems all right. I think I could do that, So I jumped in, and my perspective started to shift in terms of like what sales even was. Because when I first got in, and people were like, this is sales, I always thought that a sale was when you went to Harris Teeter and it was like buy one, get one 50% off. I thought that was sales. That's not. Sales is this. It's conversation. It's understanding people, where they're coming from, and all that stuff. So I guess to the original question, what that transition looked like, kind of an accident, but I quickly found out, I was good at it.
Okay.
And the thing that was most alluring was, hey, here's a job where the more work that I put in, the more I literally get paid.
Right.
And the better I feel like I get at this, and the more I feel like I'm stacking to my resume, to my skill set as a person. A lot of hard work involved, a lot of luck involved, right? But in terms of that transition, then I started looking back at my college experience, like understanding, okay, well, I have this whole degree, this like kind of wealth of knowledge and these habits that I've built up from school. Supposedly, I'm supposed to use it outside of school now in my career. And there's a lot of like intangible stuff, like understanding, the history behind people, and understanding how people are moved or motivated. That kind of helps me. But like in a large sense, like my degree's just kind of sitting there.
Right.
It's the skills I picked up from going through the degree that has helped me. And so now I look at school, people are like, yo, if you could do it over, would you study something different? My genuine answer would probably be yes. I look at it a lot more pragmatically now. Back then I was younger, I was much more motivated by passion. It was like this fuel that was just like, why do I do this? Because I care, I love it, I want to.
Right.
Yeah. And now I look back and I'm like, that's well and good. That's a young man's game a little bit, it's a young man's game. And now I'm looking back at it, I'm like, I think of it more as an investment. Like you are giving your 4 to 6 years, however long you're there for, to earn a skill set that you're then going to try to take and monetize, because like you need work out there, I don't know if that fully answered your question.
I think that's great that you went back to it, because I think the biggest transition of getting from college to out of it is, how do you make yourself valuable, right? How does this simple piece of paper tell me that I'm valuable to this company that I'm going to potentially work for?
Yeah.
And I think that's really great that you kind of illustrated that as well. KJ, do you have any input on that?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of wanted to piggyback off of like you being invested into your craft and like putting your effort into it, because we've been working with each other for quite some time now, and
Yes, sir.
what I've noticed is that like you are really invested in the people that you're in charge of. Nice way to put it. So wherever, I guess it's like for a lot of managers, they just kind of treat it as like a job where, okay, I have to, manage these people, and, if they do good, then I do good. So, but I think it's like, it's deeper than that. So like, where does that actually come from?
It is, man. Well, that's a good question. I think like I'm in people management, right? In my opinion, you can't work with people unless you know the people, right? I can't just treat everyone like a one size fits all, and like you either hit the number or you don't, you're in or you're out, right?
Yeah.
The thing is that requires like it takes two to tango, right? There's a sense of, okay, some people come to work, they clock in, they do their job, then they leave. Every time I sit down in a one-on-one with them, it's just kind of like, what are my numbers at? What do I need to get better at? Okay, cool, I'm gone, right? And if that's the relationship that they want, then fine. Like I can give them that relationship. I know what to tell them, how to coach them. It's the people that like come in because, okay, let me put it more simply. So we work at a tech startup, right? It's late stage startup, Series D. So, not exactly like a super large company, but at this point we have over 200, maybe 250 employees. Yeah. And we do high volume, which means each one of you makes 130 cold calls a day. There's a lot of numbers that go into that. It's hard work. And we track it all. One of our core values is data-driven decisions, right? We understand we don't make emotional decisions. We look at the data and we use that to evaluate how we're going to make our next step. I can imagine that in a system like that, even for a company as small as that, you feel lost. You feel like I don't really matter. Oh, they just coach to the numbers, right? They just use me to come in, say these words, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, I'm fired, right?
Yeah.
So imagine that, but at a company even larger, right? At a bigger scale company, how much exponentially people start feeling like they don't matter, right? My whole view is like, I hate when things are top down. When I feel like people are just flexing their power or authority for no reason, it's like the number one quickest way to get me personally to disengage, right? Why are you telling me this? You don't know me, right? The relationships, and it is a relationship, like you and I have a working relationship, and that requires both of us to kind of buy in, meet in the middle. It requires me to have a genuine interest in you as a human being, first and foremost, before I even get invested in you as an employee.
Exactly.
Now, those just happen to be the circumstances in which we met, but like, if we can take it a step further than that and I get to know you, you get to know me, then everything that we do hits a little harder. And of course, then I get invested into you, your personal life, what your goals are and how to get you there. And that ultimately is like more motivating, I have found, to like help people get to where they say they want to go. And that's how you turn it from a job to like a lifestyle, how you take things in and work and have that same discipline outside of work, and before you know it, you're a better and better person every day, whether you work or not, right? And I love like helping people achieve that in themselves, as silly as that sounds, right? The whole thing about it also, with it being a startup, is, let's be honest, right? Like no one's there for the 6-figure pay and great benefits. Like it's a small company. Yeah. We don't have too much to offer, and it's hard work. And so the biggest thing there is I'm noticing the people that I meet, they're usually young, they're usually hungry, and they usually took a bet on themselves in some way, shape, or form, right? And if you're the type to take a bet on yourself and you come in and you tell me, this is who I am, this is where I want to get to, I'm taking a bet on myself, well, then I'm going to be there to help you cash out, right? Like if we can get you there and you put in the work and we can align on that, then I am more than happy to help if you have that fuel behind you. Does that answer your question?
That answers my question.
Perfect. Yeah.
Is there a con to, I guess, getting to know your employees, or not? Would it be? Is that your?
Yeah.
Okay. My bad.
That's my boss. Dude.
But
It's my guy.
I don't know. I didn't want to phrase it.
No, you're good.
I was going to say
He displayed it like on Friday.
I know. I'm just making sure.
I'm just messing.
Look, kid, I'm not trying to, But I was going to say, like, is there kind of like a pro, not pro, but a con to like getting to know you on a personal level, because I've had that experience to where I've worked with somebody and then like, yo, and then something happened to them and I'm like, dang, I'm mad that I'm mad that they got fired or they got let go.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to kind of like...
It is, yeah.
Take out that personal relationship onto a work relationship.
100%, yeah. There's pros and cons to it. So like the pros we're talking about here is you can get to know them, get them to set habits like even outside of work and see their growth and development. It's beautiful, right? The con is it's a dual-edged sword. Like if you know somebody closer in that capacity, you spending time outside of them, you have to keep in mind like, the company has interests too, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes the company's interests and like your boy might have different like lines in terms of what you need to tell them. There's hard conversation. Kendall and I, when we first met, we had hard conversations about like, yo, is this the right job fit? Do you think you can perform well enough to do well, promote? Do you think you're going to lose this job? There are hard conversations to have. I think also, especially as someone who kind of like shapes and dictates like the trajectory and the success of someone else's career, right? I have to keep in mind like not to be biased between like one person that I feel more of a more personal affinity to versus I don't, right? Everyone deserves like an equal shot and equal treatment in there. But like, let's not mince words here. Like there is bias, right? Because like we're all human. We all have internal biases. So it's hard to like make sure, but just being aware of that and making sure like, hey, am I being like too lenient or even too harsh on this person because I expect so much out of him and all that stuff? I think the number one key to attacking that, to solving that, is just communicating to like literally everyone around you, to my manager, to Kendall, to the other reps, and just being like, yo, like at the end of the day, this is a job, right? Yeah. This is a job. There are minimum expectations. Now, the way I might tell you how to do things might be a little different. If I feel like I don't have to mince as many words with Kendall versus someone else requires a softer touch, right? Then I'll go ahead and do that. But there's definitely like some drawbacks that you need to be aware of and be careful with. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's tough. I think that's really tough, especially when you get to know a person. I feel like because like what I've learned, like, and this is going back to college, I took a lot of HR classes. And so that came to what type of coworkers that you're dealing with, right? There's some to where they want you to be in their personal life to build that relationship. Yeah. And then there's some to where they're like, yo, leave me the fuck alone. Tell me what you need me to do, and I do it.
It's just a job for me. It's just a job.
Do you think that's a con, or do you think that's a good employee if they're only there to do a job?
It depends on the job, right? Okay. It just depends on the job, right? And it also depends on like what they're able to produce with that mentality. Right. So like, I can't really give like the broadest statement. I can say to the previous point too, though, like sometimes it leads to frustration, further frustration. If I don't know you that well and you don't seem like you care that much, then the story I tell myself is, okay, cool. They just don't care that much. Then I don't care that much. I'm going to meet you where you're at.
Exactly.
But if I know you care, if I know how much better you want to become, and then I see you acting differently, then it's there's a layer of disappointment. I'm right. You are better than this. We have talked about this, right? And so, yeah, I mean, definitely a mixed bag there.
Definitely a mixed bag. I mean, what other question were you going to say?
I mean, it's a little bit different veer to like another direction, but did you kind of like wrap up with it, what you wanted to like say about that?
Yeah, boss.
Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
100%.
So when I see you at work, you're really like juggling a lot. Like when you started, you ended up like creating a brand new like department at our company, and then on top of that, you're like one of the youngest, senior managers that ended up being there. So it's just like, you've been there for about 3+ years, right? Mm-hmm. So what has kind of like driven you to like just keep going? Because our job is a lot. You know?
It is a lot.
So is there like a certain routine or regimen, maybe a mantra that you like tell yourself every day to like, you know, wake up and go to the job and get the job done?
Yeah, I was thinking about that on the way here. There's a couple different things. So first, to the mantra portion of things, I'm not really like the biggest mantra guy, just because like the way I think is kind of free form.
Yeah.
Right? Like I have conversations with myself. I think like I evaluate my life situation and all that. But I always have been pretty big on the idea of inertia. Right? You remember watching Bill Nye when you were growing up? Like
Yeah.
the intro is like inertia is a property of matter. Like that.
Yeah.
So an object in motion stays in motion unless a force acts upon it, and an object at rest stays at rest. When I was actually getting interviewed at Levitate to just get an SDR role, they asked me, "What's your why?" Right? Some people's why is money. Other people's why is family. Your why, right? Moving to downtown Raleigh, making enough money for that. Everyone has a different core value and goal. I told them inertia. Right? I told them inertia. And it is truly my belief that you can take that concept in physics and relate it to your life. So, for example, I went to sleep at 1 a.m. and woke up at 10 a.m. It's not actually what happened, but let's say I did that. And then I say, well, I need to wake up early and go to the gym before work. So I got to wake up at 6 o'clock. If I set my alarm for 6 o'clock that next morning, it's going to be hard. It is going to be super hard. I'm going to be tired. My body's not ready. My mind's not right. And I crawl up and I peel myself off the bed and I get to the gym. Boom. Like I've set myself in that motion. The next night, it's going to be a little bit easier. And then a little bit easier the next day, and over and over and over until I no longer even have to think about it. The momentum of the previous night has carried my sleep habit into the next day, right? It's like that for a lot of things, a lot of little habits that I have found that I've set, like reading, right? If I don't go read for a while, don't read for 2-3 months sometimes, then I pick up reading, dude, I'm falling asleep after 10 minutes. I'm like finding it hard to concentrate. I want to check my phone. And then after about, 20 minutes of reading, I'm tapped out. The next day I try it again, I'm better. Like it's easier. The words like are just flowing. I'm imagining the pictures in my head and I can follow the story or whatever it's trying to teach me way easier. It's kind of like that with this job where like at first, whenever someone says like, you got to get this done, here's a new thing to learn, here's a new thing to do, it's hard because you're figuring stuff out. You got to take into account a lot of factors. But once you're in the swing of things, it's way easier to stay in the swing of things. It's the discipline to stay in the swing of things. That's the hardest part, is like finding the motivation. For one, me, like there are people that count on me, right? There's people that literally the trajectory of their career, their mentality, how they perform, how they feel on the day to day. And shoot, even like if you have a bad day at work, you think you're going to be as happy at the dinner table with your family? No. Versus if you had a really good day. That's kind of what I keep in mind. I'm like, why am I doing this? Well, here I have somebody who's bought in. They want to win. They want to succeed. So I'm letting them down if I'm not also putting in the work.
Exactly.
So there's a lot of stuff in the background from high up, from low down that I need to like factor in and then deliver to you in like a simple, palatable way. And then I need to find like the motivation piece as well. Right. So that's one of the ways.
As a leader too, to really think about, because there's some people that would fold under that pressure. I think, as I was telling you, the collective, like the more people you have depending on, it could be that small little thing. As for like my dog, for example, right? That's such a small thing,
right?
But you like, bro, I gotta take this dude out.
Yeah.
I don't feel like taking him out, but it became super easier for me because I'm like, if he's not, then he's gonna poop. Then I gotta clean everything up, right? So now I'm up at 6 a.m. because of this dude. But I'm cool now. Yeah. And that's kind of the same thing with kind of like work and stuff, to where if I don't fix this, then that resident is gonna have to deal with this next month. Right. So, and I think that's good that you kind of apply to that and use that motivation of, hey, if I'm a team lead and these people are following me, what am I doing to make sure that they're following not only the correct leader, but as well as I'm showing them that I can be the leader towards them?
Yeah, 100%. When I was in more of an individual contributor role, when I just had to worry about me and my numbers, waking up and producing, not gonna lie, like at first I didn't really have like the deepest why, right? Like I was fresh out of school. I was in an industry I knew nothing about, with nobody else around me but my girlfriend that I knew. And so I sat myself down and I was like, I suck at this. I know nothing about it. I'm scared. Like, it's scary to cold call, right? And it seems high turnover. Like, I've seen people walk in and out these doors pretty quickly. So some of the motivation was just fear, right? Another one was kind of spite, where I was just like, dude, if I get fired or if I leave this job, it won't be because I quit on myself. For the first time in my life, I'm not juggling both school and work. I don't have the distraction. I mean, it's a blessing, but like the distraction of like friends asking me to do this and do that. It's just this job, my girlfriend, and well, that's it. Nothing else. So for the first time in my life, I can give my undivided attention to this one thing that happens to pay me money if I do well. So let me just go ahead and try. And let me just go ahead and see how much work I can put in. So I put in work. I started seeing immediate results, and I started feeling better about it.
Wow.
The other thing is like a hidden skill set that sales gives you, I believe, is dealing with rejection, right? Like I feel like most people in this life genuinely do not deal with rejection well or at all. You only really ask the girls you think will say yes out. Yeah, right? Right? You only really apply to the jobs that you think you have a shot at. You only ask for a raise once you think you have a leg to stand on. You only, right? It's all these little things. And most people don't actually take enough risk in life to get told no to the face 130 times day in, day out. Right? An illustration of this is I went to San Francisco to visit a friend. We were just out at a park after we visited the farmer's market. There were two guys skateboarding. I used to skateboard. I broke my leg. I don't do it no more. But I used to skateboard, and I was like, hey, I want to try to see if I can still do a kickflip. And they were like, okay, but we don't know these people. I was like, that's fine. I walked up to one of them. I said, hey, do you mind if I, try kickflipping on your skateboard? He said, nah, man. Picked up his skateboard and walked away. Go up to the second guy, his friend. I'm like, hey, man, real quick, can I try kickflipping on your skateboard? He's like, nah, I'm just about to leave, man, and just left. And I was like, okay. Cool, no worries. Turned back around. All three of my friends I was with. Like, can you believe they did? I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. That's when I realized, oh, this job has kind of given me the ability to like, I didn't even realize that was a rejection. That was just me asking two people unnecessarily. They're completely within their right to say no. And I went out, asked, got told no, and that's it, but a lot of people don't have that. And so, it's a powerful thing that can help you advocate for yourself, that can help you go and seek opportunities without fear of being told no, because no is actually one of the best things they can say, right? So to move on. And so like giving that to people as well is something that keeps me going.
I think to kind of go against, because I know that like saying a no, have you ever thought about why they have the fear of the rejection?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's dependent on the person, right? Like, how did you grow up? How exposed were you to the idea of like going out and trying things? Mm-hmm. How sheltered were you in terms of decision making as a kid, right? I knew plenty of people growing up that were scared to literally walk up to the McDonald's counter and ask for extra ketchup. I don't know why, right? But like they were nervous, and so that could be it, like their childhood,
right?
Another is like maybe they've been rejected a ton, and that's
stressful.
Yeah. That's broken down their self-esteem.
Like hearing no, like I think that like just those type of jobs, right? And when I hear, I mean, how do you guys get people to buy your product? Like how do you? Because you said cold call.
Let me put it simply. Basically, we cold call small businesses all around America.
Okay.
Right, wow. Small mom and pop shops. Like literally could be a one-person company, like a law firm, for example. We call that lawyer up. We say, listen, just give me a second. I can tell you about this, okay? Ooh. We convince them, not one, just to listen to us, and two, to have a conversation with us to see if there's any potential value. And then we either persuade them or they just buy in off the jump as to just taking a look, right? Then they hop on a Zoom call either the same day or at a later date for 30 to 45 minutes, and we have a more in-depth sales conversation. We're like, okay, well, like, what are your business needs? What's your current situation? If we see a fit, then they buy on that demo or at a later date from there. Yeah. And it's real high conversion rates, right? So it's high volume. It's not like the enterprise deal where you call up some CTO at a big company, you work that deal for like 6 months to 2 years, and then finally everyone involved is like, all right, good to go. We cleared the budget, $20 million. Right. It's kind of just like, yo, you're in, you're out. I could call you today. You could buy that day.
Okay. Yeah. That sounds tough. Like,
it is.
Just hearing the no, and like when I got out of college and going straight, because I've done like the type of tour where I'm the guy at BJ's with the tablet. Hey, what do you want for internet? What do you have? And just hearing her, no, I'm good. No, hablo en inglés. Oh. I'm like, okay, tú tienes.
That's how the Spanish.
Right, that's how the Spanish came. Yo tienes, T-Mobile, Verizon. Oh, cuánto líneas, right? Oh, so okay, so they try. The no is so like, oh, I gotta talk to my wife. Mm-hmm. Oh, I gotta, and then you could apply that at the club too, and you gotta go in more. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. And like the funny part about it is it was hard, but then now it was easy to handle. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? Because then at the club, I used to have this clicker, right? So I would bring it, it would remind me to when I was at there, like over there. And I'm getting numbers because I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna buy your drink, but let me get your number. Oh, what? No. Okay, that's one. Then 4, 5.
Interesting. So I've never seen it taken into the club.
No, you know what's funny though, because like sales is very transferable when it comes to like characteristics and traits that you build over time, like that confidence, learning to deal with rejection, knowing how to like talk and converse in like a simple form, depending on like your demographic, where it's like older, younger. Yeah. So that's one thing I do like about sales. So when I first started, like I was at like a marketing company where it was like the same thing, where we was going into retail stores and I'm selling them on the product of like cable or streaming services and maybe internet. And it was hard at first because I wasn't used to it. Like I didn't really like talk to a lot of people. I was very shy, very timid. I was 18 years old in like a little polo shirt coming up to people at Walmart saying like, hey, can I talk to you real quick? Or like, who do you have for cable? Yeah. And I think those like no's, it kind of just helped build that character and that like muscle memory momentum to like, build that kind of confidence inside yourself, saying like, okay, this guy said no. Oh, he was like a complete asshole to me. So like, when I go up to people now, or like when I, call people in these law firms, it's kind of, it's almost like a sense of like, okay, this guy, he might say no, or I might get like a terrible individual, but that's okay because I know my goals and where I want to go. You
know your worth, right? Yeah. You know your worth. Your self-esteem isn't as affected. Yeah. The other thing too that helps give you perspective, I mean, two things, right? One, let me just give a disclaimer before I make a broad sweeping statement, but like my personal belief is that we are not really owed anything in this life. I'm not entitled to anything, right? Like I came into this life and it's not like I deserve any more attention than the next. I don't deserve like a better situation than the next person. Even if, like I live a more, I don't even know the word to put it, a more disciplined life, or I live a more charitable life. Let's say if I donated $2 million to a charity and you didn't, I don't deserve more than you. Those are the results of my actions.
You get more credit per se, but you don't deserve. Yeah,
I'm not entitled to anything, right? It's a blessing to have the relationships that I have. It's a blessing to have the job and the opportunities that I've had. It's all blessings, right? So for one, we're not entitled to anyone else's time. We're not. The second is in terms of perspective. I mean, you think cold calling is hard, go down to Mexico, right? In touristy spots in Mexico. There are people standing in the heat day in, day out, in the rain, shine, snow, that know tourists with American money are going to come walking down these streets every day. And they are selling like trinkets. You know, they're selling like less than $1 bracelet. And they have to make money to feed themselves and their family or their lifestyles. And there's hundreds of them down the streets. And every day they're going out being like, hey, do you want this bracelet? Do you want this bracelet? Rejection thousands of times every
Probably
day.
not though.
Right.
They probably getting more money than some people that are out there cold calling because that's very convenient. Like, bro, if you see people they don't really know about the country or even the city that they're in, that might be good for them. It may be cheap, but that they're at a good marketable kind of like thing to where you're in a place to where it's 100 people. They're there to explore. They have one thing.
That's true.
Right. So I mean, there's going to be somebody that's going to get it for sure.
Right.
But relying back on here to where it's kind of like you have to, you're hungry. And that hungry is great, but I don't want to have my hunger to be in someone else's detriment.
Right.
So it's just more like, I got this sale, but what if they didn't know the product? I don't know if you guys, of course, inform them. But I don't know if they don't know the product, or I don't know on why they're doing it, right? So that's why I always try to come with a little bit more genuineness to where, and what I like about my job is that my commission could give me way more, but if I don't, then I'm okay. I'm good. But for those people out there who are going crazy with those sales, that could be stressful if you don't have a good mind, right?
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's sales, highs and lows.
Right.
Highs and lows.
I don't. It's high. It's super high then super low. It's like a toxic girlfriend. It's like that's what it seems like to me. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah. Some people ride the highs too high and the lows way too low. They get a lot in their head about it. And to your point about the it being like easier in a way.
Right.
Yes, like the conversion rate might be like, it's less than $1, just get the bracelet. Sure. But like the thing is they're getting rejected way higher rate than when we're cold calling folks, right? So Kendall makes 130 cold calls in one day, right? That's it. Just 130. They're seeing like thousands of people walking through the streets, and it's like in person.
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. Okay, you're talking a lot more people,
right? Just
as
the
a
quantity.
result. Okay,
the quantity.
But I wasn't looking at the quantity per se. I was looking at the convenience on why that quantity is there.
Yeah, man. If the sale is less than like 50 cents, I'll flip you a couple quarters and take the bracelet. Sure, it's whatever.
Right. But if you're talking to, I see what you're saying now. Because I have similarities with it, differences, but I get the example.
Yeah.
And then also like just going back to like you going up from college to here. What was the biggest differences based off of college to getting into your job?
Good question. So the biggest difference is, I guess like my previous point of for the first time in my life, it seemed very clear where my focuses should be, right? And I started thinking about my finances differently. I started thinking about my lifestyle differently. I started like looking into my free time differently.
Right.
That transition didn't come overnight. It also isn't finished happening.
Right.
But like, so for example, like when I was in college, I was doing college. Of course, when you're going to school, you think to yourself, well, school is my main thing.
That's your job.
That's my
your
job. Like,
Right.
I'm spending money to be here, actually. Like, I'm not getting paid, right? So, you're going to school. That's your main thing. You still got to pay for school. You still got to pay for rent. So you have a job. And the way I thought about it, I only ever worked hourly jobs because I worked at restaurants. I mean, there were tips, but they were pooled, or I worked like as a teacher and all that stuff. So I didn't really think to myself like, this job is something worth trying really hard at so I can move up and better myself in some way, shape, or form. It was like, I go here to convert my time into a paycheck, and then I use that paycheck to fuel my life. And in a way, like, it prevented me from like opening up to my coworkers. It prevented me from like making relationships in my workspaces because I was like, people would try to get to know me. They'd be like, you want to grab drinks? I was like, no, I'm going home. Like, I don't need this. Like, I need this. Right. But then transitioning here, it was like, boom, I got my girlfriend. I don't got no friends out here, and I got my job. So then I was like, oh, like this is how you meet people. Like these people, sometimes I spend more time with them than I do my girlfriend. Sometimes I spend more hours at the office in a week than I do at home. So let me invest some time into this and seek out relationships, seek out advice, seek out perspective from the people around me, right? And growing my community. Like, who do I want to surround myself by? Who's worth taking? And it was trial and error. I hung out with a lot of people, learned about them, realized their lifestyle didn't really match up to mine. I would just move on, right? The other thing was how I looked at my finances. Like, again, back in college and stuff, I was like, I go to this box called a restaurant. I stand there and give people food for 8 to 10 hours. Then they convert that time into a paycheck, and then that's it. And I kept it in a savings account or a checking account, and I just paid my bills, and that's how I thought money worked. Coming here and completely just like trying to build wealth, I realized like, oh, that's not how it works at all. And started thinking about my finances differently. Like, when I spend my time not just only earning commission, which motivates me to work harder, but also like trying to move up, trying to find out like how much more valuable I can make my time, started thinking about the economy as a whole, like what a dollar really means, right? A dollar is not a dollar in an account. A dollar is a representation of an amount of value that you have created in the economy. And it's like a screenshot, like you took an iPhone screenshot of like, here's the economy at this moment. We gave you $1 worth of that. But after the screenshot is taken, the economy keeps moving. And then if your dollar stays here and the economy keeps moving, well, guess what? Your dollar is worth less than it was when they took that screenshot. So how do you fight that? You invest in the market itself. So your dollar tracks with the market. You try to beat out inflation if you try to play it smart. You just have time in the market, and that's how you hear about people compounding their interest, right? And building up more and more wealth, making their money work for them. I started learning a lot more about that, realizing like exactly how to take advantage of where to put my savings, how to make sure that I can like keep up with the market, right? How to invest, not just for, it feels good to see, a couple digits in my bank account. Like, instead of that, just being like, I got to start thinking 5, 10, 20, 30 years down the line. When do I want to retire? How do I get there quicker? And so that was a huge transition, my relationship with money, right? And then my hobbies and friendships. We were talking a little bit before about like, once you're an adult and you get out of college, you realize like, realistically in college and high school and middle school, you were just kind of forced to be around people your age.
Exactly.
Yeah. And all of you were around each other, whether you liked it or not. Some of you became friends. You don't become friends with everyone, right? But then you scatter and you get into the workforce. Some of your coworkers may be in their 40s. Some of your coworkers may be younger, right? And all of them are coming from different walks of life. And you realize, oh, I have to like actively seek out friendships. I have to commit to things and like try to seek, like, how do I patch together a community? Because I that's another one of my beliefs. I think people always seek community, whether it's more solitary community or not. Like you're looking for people to truly understand, see, and hear you. So that's been another journey of like, well, who am I surrounding myself by? It's like, who do I want to emulate? Who do I want to have my back motivating me towards a good direction? So that's been a huge part of the transition as well. And just taking more ownership over that, right? If you thought high school to college was like, wow, no one's telling me to do my homework, I guess I just don't have to. If you thought that lack of discipline was crazy, I mean, coming from college to into the workforce, no one's even telling you to wake up. No one's telling you to go to the gym. No one's telling you should read with your free time instead of, binge watching 3 TV shows. No one's telling you to look up healthier ways to eat. No one's telling you that stuff. So you just fall into the next easiest thing. The convenience that's been sold to us nowadays is crazy. It's they profit off of convenience. DoorDash, it's way more expensive, but I don't got to get up, right? It's quick and easy ways, and it's channeled into the consumption that we have today. And so finding different ways to have discipline with all that, finding different ways to be mindful about community and then my finances and stuff. That's kind of what the main themes of my transition have been.
And that's good that you say that too, because I don't know if me and KJ went through the same thing, but when I left college and I left that apartment, I felt stuck. I felt so stuck. Like, mind you, and also you trying to see if whatever that degree is tracking your experience. You don't have any type of social experience unless you're in college, and those are people the same age. And then also that routine that you was telling us about as well. And then also the adaptation to the workplace. Right. So you got all these different factors that you have no real experience in. I mean, KJ, do you agree or?
No, yeah, absolutely. Like, I feel that when we was in college, it was more of like a small adulthood community.
Right.
Where we're interacting with people that are in the same walks of life and like kind of somewhat going through the same things. But it was convenient for all of us because we were all in the same pace of where we're going. But then once we graduated and we all started like branching out, doing our own thing, it was, all right, now we don't have that community anymore. We're kind of like gearing up for what we actually want to do with our lives. So some of us, we had to move back home and figure that out. Others, we had to, stay where we were, like in Greensboro or Charlotte, and just figure out from there. And then others, they're like, I'm not going back. Like, I'm going to figure this out. And if it happens, fuck it, we ball. If not, then like I'm still gonna like figure it out. But there's no way I'm going back to where it was before.
And it's sad because you see a lot of people who are somewhat still stuck in that transition.
I mean, that's the walk of this life, right? Like, I was actually literally this morning when we were going to take a friend's dog out to the park, I was talking to my girlfriend while we were driving there, and I told her, I really believe like the age range of 22-year-olds to maybe 28, 29-year-olds is the most diverse age range we have, because you got some 25-year-olds unemployed, no real direction, kind of lost, living with their parents, right? You also have 25-year-olds full-time jobs, moving their way up in life, like healthy habits and maybe clear goals. You have 29-year-olds, all back and forth. There's like a giant, like, diverse,
like lifestyle diversity.
Right. And you have people that like don't drink, don't party, they just go running. You have people that their Friday, Saturday nights, they're set for every week. They know exactly who they're going out with every night at the club, right? So, and there's nothing like wrong or right about that. It's just about like what amount of discipline you have and what your goals are. But I do think like at a certain point, most people don't have the financial or like the backing to continue that, because it does deteriorate your health, right? You literally can't keep that up for a while, and pretty soon people start to drop, and you look around and you're 35, 40 years old, still trying to do the same things, and you don't have the money to fuel it.
That's what I realized too. Like, oh my God. Like when I realized, I was like, bro, I need to get the fuck out of Greensboro. I realized I'm at a frat party and I'm like 23 and I'm looking at all these different people. 21, freshman. I need to get the fuck out of here. And then I went to more bars now. They were a lot more mature. But it's just some people, they're still stuck to where they're a senior. You're still trying to chase a freshman. Like, bro, sit down. You about to graduate.
That's crazy.
So, right. You see those things.
Yeah, I mean, it's a stereotype for a reason. They what it is like from public or private school education to college to beyond, from pre-K to end of college, if you got there, it's a structure. You didn't have to think how to live. You woke up, and then you had this giant thing called school. Okay, you hop on the conveyor belt, you go through it. Then they spit you out at the end, and they're like, all right, figure it out. And a lot of people are looking down the pipe being like, shit, do I just work a job, pay taxes, and then eventually die? And they get disillusioned from it, and they choose a different path. Or they find all this freedom and they don't really know what to do with it. So they stick to the old habits that they know, which is like, I go out at night. I don't have the discipline. Like, I don't have homework anymore, right? Like, it's that sort of like stuff that just moves people down the funnel. And I think that's why there's like a huge epidemic of people that don't really understand, lack a clear direction. There's all these speakers that come up. You notice what the algorithms are feeding people nowadays, because that's one way to assess where our population's minds are at.
Exactly.
Right? What sort of media is super popular right now? Well, it's motivational videos for young men trying to tell them to grind and stuff. And why does that resonate? It resonates with them because there's a ton of people that don't have a direction in their lives. They don't have strong enough familial relations. They don't have good enough relationships to point them in clear directions.
They don't have a good role model as well.
Yeah, 100%.
And that's how they get infatuated with it, to where they got, you do 100 push-ups a week. Like, all this other stuff. I get that.
Yeah, 100%. And the other dangerous part of it, in my opinion, is vulnerability. Right?
Yeah.
You got a lot of people out here that aren't used to, right? Like, if you grow up with someone, they've been your neighbor since you were 3. You can't even remember life without them. And you just kind of understand each other at a deep, intimate level. You guys are best friends. Sometimes you have siblings in the same capacity, right? You can be vulnerable with them. If you have a problem, you can go to them. If you no longer have that, you've moved far away from it. Now you got to find new people. A lot of people have trouble opening up, being vulnerable, and actually assessing how they're feeling in their day-to-day. And it can be really easy to live years and years and years without actually addressing real problems, real situations, real mentality shifts that need to happen. Because I could live 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 months, a year without actually ever opening up to somebody if I didn't want to. So you got to make yourself want to do that, build that habit, and like actually address who are you really inside, right? Instead of just like, this is the character that I play for here, and then I don't let anyone get in close to me, so I don't form any close relationships. And before I know it, my community is made up of people that expect me to act a certain way forever.
Right.
They don't see any diversity or flavor within my soul. They just expect me to, that's Andrew. He's the funny guy. That's all he does is the funny guy, right? Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, no, that's Ken Dale. He's just like good at his job. It's whatever. He's no more of a human beyond that. And I think a lot of people are stuck.
Yeah, and I think that really resonates with me as well, because coming from, where I'm from, a lot of people, it's such a small town. Mm-hmm. And when you're in that small town, it's like, everybody, right? Everybody knows everybody, right? One point you dated this person, now this other person is dating that person, right?
Yeah.
So it's such a small town, and that's what I was so familiar with. And then my mom ended up moving us to North Carolina. I'm like, damn, I see a Tesla, I see a Range Rover, I seen all Mercedes, I see all these cars I never saw in my hometown. Usually you see some cars, but they're pimped out, but not even those nice cars. And I just started, and I think that created that change in me to where I want to go out. And plus I was such an uncomfortable spot because I'm in a whole different state that I never really been familiar with. So it's just, now a lot of people don't have that, I would say that, the initiative to bring out that change, to be like, I want to meet new people.
Yeah.
And I start to see it a lot now. The iPads are a lot more social than actually going out, more than anything.
Yeah.
iPad kids.
It's all that convenience. I mean, how was the transition for y'all? Like, how's the journey been for y'all so far?
Like coming from college to, adulthood?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you feel like an adult? Would you say that?
I'll say I'm an adult now.
Okay, why? Why?
I literally just paid a bunch of bills yesterday.
Is it bills? so paying.
I mean, that's
bills.
one component.
Okay.
Yeah.
What else?
Another is right. Also, just having like the freedom to not like necessarily do whatever you want, but it's like when you're little, you kind of have to listen to your parents because they're the ones who like know and are responsible for you. But then like once you get older, they kind of take a step back. Like they're still your parents. You can still go up to them for like advice and stuff that you need. But like the responsibility is on you. Like if you screw up, it's on you. Like if I go out and like shoot somebody because I got mad at them, that's on me. It's not on my parents. So I think that like the transition that I'm in now for like as an adult, the responsibility is on me to be successful. Like nobody's gonna hold my hand or like tell you to do these things. Just like how you were saying earlier, they're not telling you to like get up and go to work or go to the gym or like do these healthy habits. It's all on you to like do these things for yourself.
100%. 100%.
What about you?
How about you?
I think it's still transitioning. Like I feel like I'm kind of getting out of that now, but I think that like I was thinking about this the other day. I'm like, why do we go out? Like why? We drink, and these drinks are expensive. You're looking at your bank account the next day. That night we went out for New Year's. Waste of money. Waste of bread. Waste of bread. Went to this club. I bought some pasta.
Put that in the stock market.
Right, bro. It's terrible. It was like, bro, like we spent so much money. So much money. And I'm like, bro. And I think the reason why is because we're still trying to chase the night. We're still trying to chase the night, like the best night we ever had. It's kind of like taking a drug for the first time. Like you get that first high can never be replaced. It's the same thing. That night can never be replaced.
That's fair.
You see what I'm saying? Okay. So I'm still kind of in that. I don't want to go out as much, but then at the same time I do because I like hanging around my friends or, just having a fun time, right?
But if it's like going out, it's not like at a club setting. It's just more just hanging out with your buddies.
Yeah, right.
Maybe going to like a jazz lounge. That's like my thing. I like going to jazz lounge.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
No, because we went to Moonlight. Have you been to Moon Room?
No, yeah, you told me about it one time.
Yeah,
it was
like
a nice vibe to just go and sit down.
Fire. But yeah, like it was still trying to chase it, and as well as like I don't think that the financial things were a big thing. I think more of like the emotional.
Yeah.
Like
I was just gonna ask you, like, where do you find most fulfillment from? Right? Like, I'm not. Yeah. Like if it's one big answer and it's super clear and you're like, this is where I get all my fulfillment, like for sure. But most people find it in a lot of different places. So like, where do you find your fulfillment from? In terms of like little moments.
I think.
What you did there.
Right. I think that like playing. I think just being able to be in a space to where I can relax. I think that's my biggest fulfillment because I'm already doing a lot of different things, right? Like work or, because for me, even when I don't work, I'm still doing the responsible things. It's not like I'm not. Like I already know, okay, if I want to have this, I got to pay my car note. Then I got to pay my apartment. That shit crazy, okay? That took half of my pay, okay? And then also just taking care of my dog too, right? But just being able to create a place not only for me, but as well as for other people to feel comfortable.
And is that like, so going out to the club, is that like
he said you shouldn't be fucking gone.
Do they align at all?
They do because usually just hanging around my friends, just being in a good environment to where I'm able to be comfortable. That's with my friends, my family, just being able to make sure that we're because like we're not really living for ourselves. We live for other people, right? So it's just more of like. You're just spending time with more people that you have because once you're by yourself, you're like, fuck it. Like, think about Seattle, as you was telling me, right? Yeah. They have the highest suicide rate. You know why? Because they're not going out. They're not. I think the biggest thing is having experiences with other people, from other people. That way you're able to add that on and you can bring that to somebody else.
Right.
I feel like that's the biggest thing for me.
Yeah. We live in the hearts of the people that carry us around.
Exactly. That's a good. Where do you get that quote from?
I just made it up.
Andrew Cho at 1:26 p.m.
That's crazy. No, but I guess like is there any final questions that you have?
Nah. I mean, so as we like wrap up here, is there anything that you want to like have the people take away from this interview? Pulling out the red carpet here.
Take away from the interview. I'm probably gonna be driving home being like, I should have said this.
right. A shower thought.
Let's see. Call the people that you should call and just tell them that you love them. Say it constantly, right? Like say it easily. I know people put a lot of emphasis on like the words "I love you," because it's movies and books have, you know, portrayed it as this big, like the music will start playing and like, no, like the words that we say the most easily to the people that we really do mean them to, it should come as easy as breathing, right? So do not be afraid to let those people know. There's a ton of us out there that don't really know what's going on. There's a lot of media portraying a lot of different things that, you know, medias are for-profit companies, right? Like the news profits off of your attention. So does social media, so do all these companies. So one of the most farmable emotions is anger. They treat us like a farm crop by angering us and getting us to feel like we are pitted against each other. It is not the case. The human brain is designed to be communal. It's to seek out relationships and live in a certain, like, I can only think of so many people, right, that actually matter to me and that my community is shaped of. So focus on that first and foremost. If you could change yourself, you can change your people around you, you can change your community, and then you guys can go out and change the world, right? So keep that focus in mind. We're all lost. We're just trying to find our way. So that's the one thing.
There you go.
That's good. That was pretty good.
So yeah, pretty good. This time. So hot.
I was going to say something slick, but I was like, let me not ruin the moment. But thank you guys for listening to QFM Podcast. Please subscribe. Also follow us on Instagram. Please, thank you so much, and you guys have a great day.
We out here.